It's drawing closer. That's next week's ECB meeting when Mario Draghi will announce what measures the central bank will take to resolve the crisis. He'll have an extra few days to think about it. The ECB confirming today Draghi will not attend the Central Banker Fest at Jackson Hole this weekend. Well, for this week's Euro Crisis Watch, I'm joined by Tobias Blattner from Daiwa Capital Markets. Tobias, Draghi not going to Jackson Hole. What can we infer from this, if anything, especially given that Jens Weidmann is going?
Well, I think we probably shouldn't read too much into it, but it clearly shows, I think, that there's a lot of very important things going on right now at the ECB. It's not only, I think, the preparation for the new bond buying program that the markets are awaiting so desperately, but I think it's also the Monday European Parliament hearing on how the ECB actually views the issue of being a bank regulator in the future. I think these two events are likely, I think, to make the schedule of Draghi so busy that he's not going to Jackson Hole this year.
OK, and of course the big event is next Thursday, the ECB meeting. Draghi famously saying last month the ECB will do whatever it takes, and believe me, that will be enough. What's your take on where we are now?
Well, I think we are convinced that Draghi will ultimately announce something that I think will be much more powerful than I think SMP, the old SMP program that we used to know. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of details that we're still awaiting and that are very crucial, I think, to the success of the new bond buying program. And I think a lot will ultimately depend on the government's ability, those that will actually be on the receiving end, so Spain and Italy, that they obviously they need to apply, and then if they can actually live up to the expectations of the program that they need to sign, I think that is probably the biggest danger to any future ECB bond buying.
Only today, though, we had Spanish Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy saying Spain is not in talks with the EU about requesting a bailout.
That's exactly, I think, what the markets fear, that I think the ECB stands ready and would actually do something. But again, we might not have the political willingness to give up more sovereignty, because that is obviously what a program would imply. And I think in Spain, given the needs from the financial markets, I mean, that might be easier seen. But I think in Italy, where we also have these elections coming up very early next year, and I think we see that the parties are already positioning themselves for the elections, it's very, very difficult to see actually how political support can be gathered in order to sign up for a precautionary program.
Do you think, well, I mean, it seems to be inevitable, the consensus is that Spain will at some point be forced to seek a sovereign bailout. Do you agree? And also, do you think Italy will follow suit? Can we see Italy and Spain both requesting bailouts?
Well, we should, I think, and I think that is the danger. I think, as you said, that we all have no doubts that Spain at some point in time will actually ask for financial help. I think we have seen already indications from the Spanish Prime Minister in the direction of doing so. But as I was just saying, I think for Italy there's much more, I think, doubt about whether they would ultimately do that step. And I think they will likely want to await first the outcome of a Spanish program, how that will affect the Spanish yields and also the Italian yields, obviously. And then I think only on the basis of that they would probably make a decision of whether they also want to apply for a precautionary program. And that, as I said, I think will most likely depend on how a Spanish program is received in the market, how these ECB interventions will actually help stabilizing the yields, and then Italy will most likely have to follow suit.
We had Jörg Asmussen yesterday reiterating what Draghi said a few weeks ago. The ECB will buy bonds, but it will only buy at the short end. Is this the right way to go? Shouldn't they be bringing long-term yields down?
No, I think there are good reasons, I think, for the ECB to actually focus on the shorter end, simply because it's actually very close to its traditional area of monetary policy. It's within the area. And I think you have to see that if you are actually giving a reassurance to the markets that the countries can refinance themselves at the short end of the maturity, then I think the actual default premium that the markets are pricing into the long end should also decline. Because after all, I think we know that I think if the governments are implementing the reforms, then this crisis should hopefully not last for, say, another 2 years. But if you can, if you're able to refinance yourself for the next 2 years over a shorter period, then I think that should also help to bring down longer yields. And then we also obviously have the support from the bailout funds that should actively give support to the long end. So the combination, I think, looks just right in my view.
OK, Tobias, thank you very much. My thanks there to Daiwa Capital Markets, Tobias Blattner. That's all from us for now. I'm Jamie McGeever. This is Reuters.